Hi, I'm Maria Meliora, and welcome to my channel. Today we're gonna talk about luxe. Goodies you can buy anywhere, goodies that are shoved in your face at all times. And eventually, even I, as much of a contrarian as I tend to be with marketing, even I cave in every once in a while, and I just bite the bullet, and I get that popular motherfucker perfume. Every once in a while there is so much pressure, there's so much talk, there's so much hype that I cave in. It's like, all right, I'll check it out for myself. I'll get it and I'll tell you what I think. And I think there's no better way to start than from so ever talked about creation of Mugler. And I can't tell you, just I can't find words. Kind of iconic status the House of Mugler has in my native country. In Russia, Mugler is probably like the son of Jesus or something like that. It's so talked about. It's so beloved despite being sold just as any other, just normal. There's nothing normal about the luxe perfume prices, but sold everywhere. Here in the States, I don't really see it talked about as often. Moreover, I see almost every new creation by the House of Mugler in the discounts section, in the discount online stores or TJ Maxx, Marshalls, you name it, almost a month after they appear on the market. A lot of releases that the House of Mugler does are Europe-centric, and it's actually up to you shipping things from Selfridges in order to actually try some of them. You know what I'm talking about, right? That's Mango Star. It was actually on sale. Okay, we're not going to talk about it. We're going to talk about what I actually bought. Aura Sensuelle. A beautiful packaging. For once, I'm a big fan of this particular packaging. Generally speaking, not the selective, not the boutique line of Mugler, but they are the usual fragrances that they put out there. To me, seems a little bit. They definitely have their own style. You gotta give them that. Okay, I need something to open the box, but to be honest, not my aesthetic. It looks to me like cheap cut glass, like a lot of. I don't know, a lot of plastic, a lot of hard lines, not the biggest fan. However, Aura, the original one, is in a dark green glass. The Eau de Toilette, a lighter version of it, is in a lighter green glass, and the Aura Sensuelle, which is released, I think, this year, is in this semi-transparent light green, almost like this green haze, almost mint green. No, actually it's warmer, with a pink, if you can see it, with a pink film. So it's kind of like a duochrome, if you wish. I do find the design of this hard bottle is pretty innovative. It also makes me think of some Disney villainesses, or how would you say, villain, female version of a villain. You know what I'm talking about. Makes me think of some kind of crown. It's like a Queen of Hearts of some kind. So I would give it credit for the packaging. This bottle is fairly well made, though I must say that duochrome film that gives you this pink flash, it does peel. Yeah. So you gotta be careful with it. If you throw it in your purse and you want to sort of carry it around, the bottle will very quickly use its appeal. So mostly for storing at home and using at home, and you probably should get an atomizer if you want to carry it with you. Anyway, perfume itself, right? This is what you're here for, I presume. If you've never tried Aura by Mugler, be warned, the original is a a yelling masterpiece. That's how I call most of Mugler Luxe creations. They are very loud. They are very pronounced. They have very long. They last a long time. So if you really are into like 2 sprays and then for 8 hours, the whole city knows where you are in it, the House of Mugler is for you. If you like a little bit more sophistication, if you like a little bit more quietness, it's very hard to find a perfume in their line that will suit that kind of taste. This is probably one of the first attempts, more or less successful attempts, I should say, where House of Mugler made a flanker, sort of like an additional release to the initial one, that is sufficiently different in character, yet really belongs to the same family. So our Sensuelle really misses that synthetic green liana, what they call synthetic note. They're really known for their very innovative chemical formulas that, you know, kind of like take the world of perfumes to like a new level. Like when okay, I'm not gonna go into that. If you want, we can talk about the House of Mugler some other time. But generally speaking, our Sensuelle to me is the most nuanced yet powerful vanilla, kind of like moody vanilla, yet kind of like sensually, I wouldn't say quiet, there's nothing quiet about even this one, but it is not as bright, it's not as in your face, it's not as much of a screaming of a perfume than all others. If you like original Aura, you might be disappointed in Aura Sensuelle because it really doesn't have the same green zestiness. They really just took it out of it. There's only hints of what the Aura used to be. They really compounded, they really focused a lot on the souffle kind of sweetness. And it's dense, it's projects fairly well, but it always stays pinky vanilla kind of in its essence. It's really masterful play on what the original Aura used to be, but it really took the bite out of it. For some people, it will be failure because of that. For me personally, I just can't wear Aura. I can't. Neither Eau de Parfum nor Eau de Toilette. It's just too much. As much as I appreciate that soft, almost intimate initial vanilla opening, later when it really grabs on my skin and this green, tropical, synthetic note comes out, it's like a green snake that smothers me. There's nothing alluring about that perfume for me because it's too overpowering, even with 1 or 2 sprays. In that sense, Aura Sensuelle for me is the only wearable perfume from the Mugler line that is, not the only actually, I do have a few others, but one of the rare cases when powerful, bright, sweet smell doesn't kill me. So I think I will actually give it a go. Even though I must say I'm not the biggest fan of this kind of vanilla, it reminds me of Comptoir South Pacific in some way. You know, this model kind of millennial vanilla that is very edible, that is very sweet, that is very dense, and it just kind of like stands in the air. Like it kind of like can be suffocating at times, depending how intense is your application. So that I'm not so sure about if it will really end up working for me. I'll definitely let you know as I wear it more and more. But I just wanted to let you know, if you like this deceiving softness of Aura at the beginning, but you couldn't really stand the character of it when it really opens up and shows its kind of predatory green character, Aura Sensuelle might give you everything that you wanted without the green snake bite. So for me, it's definitely a win, even though I bought it blindly. Alright, there's a lot that we have to go through, so I'm gonna speed up. This little juicy yummy set. I don't know if you've seen my haul of the niche perfumes. If you have, you probably already know what I'm all about. I am all about intellectual, sophisticated nudes, and I think Prada does those like no one else in the luxe sector. So they have this line that probably has been around for quite a long time. It's called Le Infusions de Prada, or Prada, if you want to go Italian on me. So look at that set. So they actually sell different versions of this set online. Some of them have, mine has 2, 4, 6, 8. Some of them are 5, some of them are 6. So kind of like choose whichever you can find for the price range and the variety that you want. I went for the biggest one I could find. I heard great things about this particular line of perfumes because, okay, this is actually probably a better way to look at it. Can you see it? So they have kind of, I want to say colognes, but they're not colognes in the way that Jo Malone does colognes, or Acqua di Parma, or who else do we know? Atelier de Cologne, right? Like both Atelier de Cologne and Jo Malone colognes are sold in Sephora. So if you know how those smell, this is way more, it's higher educated colognes, if you wish. As snobbish as it sounds, that's how I perceive them. To me, Atelier Cologne, and especially Jo Malone recently, in the recent years, those are just any kind of florals or fruity fragrances, just with a 10 times higher price than they need to be. When it comes to the Prada versions of colognes, and by that I mean, as you take one note, you wrap it up with a few other notes to kind of like complement it the best, and yet the scent will be very light. It will often they project well. People can hear them on you. You can hear them on you, but they are not overpowering. They're usually very distilled. They are very well crafted in the way that there is usually no any kind of like heavy animalistic muskiness. There's like nothing there that you would think as noir or animalistic or predatory or maybe in a way disgusting, right? Like it's animalistic notes. A lot of people find them to be too much, or even kind of transitioning to body odor scents, let alone when things become indolic and yada yada yada. So this is like a perfect non-offensive set of perfumes that have slightly different flavors. Like if you wish, like different flavors of simple light ice cream that is not super cream or sugar heavy, but just, you know, almost like yogurt ice cream if you wish, but different flavors. Light, easy, you eat a little bit, you enjoy it, you forget about it. I do like this form of perfumery. I'm always cautious when things become a little bit too simplistic, because then what's the point? So Prada probably was one of the first ones who did it really, really well. And I got their sampler. Here we have 8 milliliters. Unfortunately, all of the bottles are not splash, not spray. So I actually will have to pour them into atomizers. I only use spray bottles. I splash is not my thing. So here we have, if you're interested, we can talk about my impressions later. Now I'm just showing you what I bought. Here we do have Amande, which is like an almond. Iris Cedre, so sort of citrusy iris. Fleur d'orange, so sweet honeysuckle like perfumes. Iris, well, that's like iconic. I think that's the most famous one in the line there, Iris one. Rose, Mimosa. Oh, I'm very interested in Mimosa. A good Mimosa with a little bit of maybe freshness or powder, on the other hand, can make my day. It's just, there's something about Mimosa note that never smells cheesy. It never smells tacky. It never goes anywhere where you wouldn't it to go. Like it's almost, I would say Mimosa is a very underrated floral note, because it's very sophisticated, because it's usually not overused. And also, like, I can't imagine how you can overuse Mimosa. Who knows though? Oeillet, and that is, what is Oeillet? I think this is some kind of spice. In Vetiver. Alright, my relationship with Vetiver is really complex. It's complicated, let's say. Our relationship status, it's complicated. My familiarity with Vetiver notes started from Encre Noir Red Lalique, which is iconic, kind of like this inky, cold, stony Vetiver perfume. Absolute cult favorite in that family. Costs like $10 or whatever, $20. It's like costs nothing. And that's what Lalique perfumes are really known for, but probably I should move on and we'll talk about Lalique the other time. Anyway, with the Vetiver, I'm really curious to see how Prada wrapped it up, because most of the time when I smell Vetiver, I don't like it. We'll see. Rose, is a very dangerous note to make a mono accord perfume around, because it's been done and overdone, and at this point it's very hard to make a rose sort of like centric perfume that doesn't sound very generic or tacky. Rose can go tacky, unfortunately, I think. Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm especially excited about the Amande. I love me some almond notes, so we'll see about that. If you're curious to see what are my favorites out of this set, let me know. Leave a comment below, we'll talk about it later then. 2 samples, I think it was like a set with 2 splash miniatures. This is Burberry. You know, I used to love Burberry back in the day when I was in my 20s, and I couldn't really afford a lot of perfumes. You know, it was like the times were pretty tough back in the day for me. So most of the time I would actually either buy a no-name perfume. I think once I even bought a fake. I'm not ashamed of it. I had no money and I really wanted to smell like XYZ Luxe perfume, but ever since then I decided not to do it because it ruins the memory of an iconic fragrance for you forever. So now that I can afford to buy the original, I just don't want to, because you know it's similar enough, but it's bad enough that it ruins the idea of the original for you as well. Anyway, so I used to buy miniatures. That's the only thing I could afford at the time. So I really have like a warm place in my heart for miniatures, even though they're really impractical. As I told you, I don't really like to swatch perfumes without a spray. So what I did with both of these Burberry perfumes, I already poured I think half of this one into an atomizer, and I fell in love with it. Good old Burberry, man. It's really underrated these days with all of these Jo Malones and uber expensive one-note perfumes. We forgot about where we came from. So this is a completely empty bottle because I have it in my purse. This is Burberry Brit Rythm. There's like 1,000 flankers for the Burberry Brit. This is Burberry Brit Rythm. They're actually all different, believe it or not. The Rythm is this, you know, like it could easily be some kind of like Carner Barcelona like niche, or like Artiste, or like it could be one of those intellectual nudes that costs over $100, though on a lot of online stores it costs around 25 or 30 for a bottle. The Rythm combines lavender with this impeccable, soft, like typical Luxe Burberry DNA. Like they have this base that I almost always recognize in their perfumes, minus what they've been issuing this past year. But if you think about the early 2000s and 2010-ish era, that's Burberry at its finest. And the Burberry Rythm, with that kind of luxury, you know, it's like a Luxe magazine, like it's like glamour magazine when you smell the pages, and some often they are also like have like dry perfumes in them. This is what makes me think of, and yet it's fresh enough because of the address of I think bergamot and maybe a little bit of citrus and the lavender, that I think that's what makes it sound way more niche than I gave it credit for when it was new. Love it. Love it. It's actually now on my wish list. I have way too many perfumes, so It is not urgent to buy it in full bottle, like I'm still wearing what I have in my atomizer, but it's a definite want. Definite want, easy to wear, has a character, non-offensive, really kind of like, it's kind of like high-end street. You know, like when you buy like a really cool t-shirt that for whatever reason costs $100, but it's just fresh, punchy, but like not too much. This is what Burberry Rythm is for me. It's just really, it's carefree, young, and a little bit showy because of the kind of this freshness and lavender on top of it. A very different situation happened between me and Burberry Brit For Her. This is the original one. They repackaged it a little bit. As far as I know, they didn't change the formula. So this is what it looks like. Just a full-size bottle will be Captain Obvious, much bigger. I don't know. That one, the original didn't really make my heart flutter. It's much sweeter. Let me try. This is why I don't like the splash. It's just like you cannot control it very well. To me, it's a little bit cloyy sweet. But that said, it brings it much closer to, you know, rolling through 2000, 2010, 2020. We're almost there. This modern liquid sugar kind of sweetness, which kind of started from Britney Spears, you know, Midnight Fantasy, and Victoria's Secret has like 1,000 kind of this synthetically sugary sweet perfumes. This is a less offensive sugary sweetness. This has a little bit of a fruity tonka bean kind of sweetness that doesn't let it go too much of a cliche, but it's heavier because it's sweeter. It's a little bit more, to me, it's a little bit more annoying. It's not heavy enough to be considered a gourmand, you know, like a perfume that you wear like heavy jewelry, like, you know, like some bijouterie, which, you know, makes you look like a queen. This is neither there or here. This is a very comfortable, sweet, a little bit fruity luxe designer perfume. For that, I love it, because to be honest, this kind of sweetness is way less annoying to me than Poison Girl, Olivia Bell, and etc. and etc. However, it's not quite my story, so I think I will probably find a new home for it. Moving on to another very talked about perfume. This is a Red Cube by Narciso Rodriguez. I don't know if you're into like ASMR kind of stuff. I am. I really love this sound when you take the packaging off. I'm a big fan of Narciso Rodriguez. Actually, more became so after I kind of graduated from 20s, from my 20s, because I don't know, when I was younger, their original perfume For Her, both pink and black, seemed kind of like very, very heavy. Back in the day, I didn't really understand the difference between gourmand, musks, incense. Like, it was just like heavy is heavy, sweet is sweet. What do you want from me? And only later I understood the subtleties of, and the kind of like the meaningfulness, the gravity of what initial introduction of Narciso Rodriguez musks really did to the world of smells, to the world of fragrances. The Narciso Rodriguez musks are unmistakable. They are absolutely iconic. A note of musk can smell 1,000 different ways. All of them bring you a little bit more toward animalic side of things, right? All of them smell as something alive. It can be like heavy, almost like body odor smell. It can be juicy and kind of almost sour. It can be really clean and almost industrial smell. So musks come in all shapes and forms. And the progression of how Narciso Rodriguez house played with their kind of musky bases was fascinating to watch. So one of these releases was their Red Cube Narciso Rouge. Impeccable packaging. These red bottles they're just fetishes. They're everything. It's like red lipstick, right? In perfumes. Impeccable. Really, really, really an eye candy. Love it. What was really weird about that perfume in particular for me, Narciso Rouge, after the black cube, after Narciso Eau de Toilette, after the white cube, which is more like gardenia. The white cube is probably most universally beloved. I also had their pink cube, which was Poudre. And to be honest, I really got tired of it rather quickly. It was powdery, yes, but it didn't have, it was nice, right? Like it was just nice. And when I finally put my hands on this one, I got it from a discount online store that sells discounted perfumes. I was kind of disappointed at first. I was like, where is Narciso Rodriguez? This is like every new release of theirs is becoming more and more watered down. Like, where is the opulence? Where is the richness? So initially I was like, okay, well, all right, it's wearable. You can still find the sort of the typical DNA of Narciso Rodriguez in there, but it's just kind of like meh, you know? I was like, okay, well, I'll wear it and forget about it until a perfume blogger, they're Russian-speaking couple, Evgeny and Karolina, until they talked about it in their video. And they said that you have to understand what's behind it. You shouldn't come here expecting a classic pink Narciso Rodriguez or their Musk collection. This is their version of lipstick perfume. It's their version of like makeup bag, this mixture of all the smells and like well-lived makeup bag that's stored all of your like lipsticks, your powders, your shadows, all of it. And when you open it, it has this kind of like blended, sweet but uncertain kind of powdery smell. This is what it is about, just in the interpretation of Narciso Rodriguez. And then I opened it again, and I smelled it, and I was like, yes, this is exactly what it is. It is the makeup bag lipstick kind of like boudoir scent. I love it. And now, since I kind of like got to the core of it and I got that imagery, I absolutely love it. It delivers me exactly what it promises. I've sampled over a dozen of perfumes that claim to be all about boudoir, lipstick, kind of makeup bag kind of feel and aura. If you're interested, let me know in the comments. I'll make a video about that. So far, this is definitely the top contender. Love it. So, packaging, again, this is a great thing to gift to a makeup junkie. They'll appreciate the kind of environment, the kind of, journey that it sends you on. Next perfume, also from Narciso Rodriguez. Apologize for the state of the packaging. I bought it from a eBay seller. It's pre-owned perfume. I really couldn't find many from the Musk collection for a reasonable price. So when I found this, and look at the bottle. Oh my god, I just love it. It's so beautiful. When I found this one, it was fairly reasonable price, maybe like $40. This is Narciso Rodriguez For Her in color. Not gonna lie, half of my determination to buy it was because of the packaging, and I thought, like, how bad can it be? I seem to like grow more and more into Narciso Rodriguez DNA, and I have the better and better chemistry with them as the time goes by. So I'll enjoy it either way. So I bought it, and I must say I'm a little bit confused. From one hand, it does remind me a lot about the original, the pink bottle, but kind of duller. I don't know, maybe it wasn't stored properly, who knows, maybe like the top notes kind of went off. That's the first thing to go. By the way, if you're ever buying perfumes that are reused by somebody else, it's always a bit of a gamble, because if they stored them in the, in wet climate, let's say bathroom, or the perfume was standing and was exposed to sunlight, it could have gone off. And the first things to go are the top notes. So all the perfumes that have this a little bit of oily, I mean, it's the same when the lipsticks go off. You probably know what I'm talking about. This little bit oily, off-putting smell. I don't know. Is it there? Is it not? Or is it just another interpretation of Narciso Rodriguez on musks? I honestly can't tell. But there's something about it that's just disappointing to me. So, Narciso Rodriguez For Her in color, it's just like an underwhelming dollar version of the pink bottle. If I were you, if I had a choice, I actually would buy a pink bottle and like forget about this one. It's beautiful, but I can't really say that. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know about this one. If you have it, let me know what kind of flavors, what kind of notes, what kind of impression does it give you? Especially in comparison with the original, because there are so many flankers of Narciso Rodriguez, and all of them sound seductive, minimalistic, and yada yada yada. So it's kind of hard to choose. This is definitely not a winner for me. I'll think more on that. I'll wear it more, and if my opinion changes, I'll definitely let you know, and I'll give you sort of a more detailed analysis of what's there and why did I get such an impression.